first of all, there's a lot of talk about rivalry and those kinds of things. From my perspective and our perspective, nothing but respect for the Bucks. What they threw at us to begin the game and really throughout the game was the thing that champions do. They come out and they throw everything, their heart and soul into it. We didn't respond well early. We stayed with it, and we showed the kind of resilience that we've really shown all year. So, my hat's off to our guys for hanging in. Our crowd was tremendous. What happened in the overtime, we were down 7 with 40 seconds. Nembhard hits the 3. We get a steal. Ty gets an and one, and then we got fortunate. They had a mishandle, and we got the ball, and Ty made the play to win the game. And neither team had a timeout. Both teams literally left every single ounce of everything they had out there, including timeouts, and nobody had anything left. So we're fortunate, but fortune favors the bold. Our guys were bold in the last 3 quarters, and we're very thankful and very grateful to be moving on. We know the next challenge is going to be very daunting as well, but we got a couple of days here, I guess. I don't know when we play. Does anybody know when we play? Yeah, they're saying maybe Saturday or Sunday, but nobody really knows for sure. So, anyway, congrats to our guys.
You guys talked a lot during that stretch in March when you won a bunch of close games about how those moments could help you for the playoffs. What did you see from your team in terms of attitude, resolve, whatever, in the final minutes of both regulation and overtime?
Yeah, we were in this situation many times, maybe not quite this dire. I don't know if it was down 7 with 40 seconds, but we were down 7 with under 2 minutes, and it's very difficult to overcome that, But we did it a couple times, and regardless of who we did it against, we had guys that got experience with that kind of pressure and having had that kind of toughness and resilience. So all those ingredients go into the mix when a team pulls off what our guys pulled off today.
What do you make of Tyrese fighting through a couple misses early in overtime to have those moments late and hitting the game winner with just a second to go?
Yeah, when it comes to belief in himself, Tyrese has an iron will. He works extremely hard on what he does. He works extremely hard on his craft, his skill. He's unafraid. He reminds me a lot of Reggie. And, this game will go down as one of the all-time great Pacer wins because of the circumstances in overtime and what was on the line. And Ty obviously authored, a big part of this ending. So congratulations to him. The Netflix people are driving me nuts. They're everywhere, and it's a pain in the ass. But, when a guy like that can rise to the moment with a microphone on and cameras following him all over the place, it's pretty amazing.
Aaron Nesmith has been stepping up this entire series. 19 and 12 obviously came through with a lot of big plays at big moments. Just how important does he continue to be throughout this playoffs? Well,
there's a period in the fourth quarter where we were getting shots, but we were unable to convert. Called a timeout. We put him in a stack action, and he delivered a 3, boom, just like that. And that was a huge play. Then he had a tip in late, and he's involved in a lot of loose ball plays. He was involved in the play in Game 4, which was a defining play as well. A chase down block on Portis turns into an and one at the other end, and it really was a big part of the run we made in the second half. So, look, he's a warrior type player, and interestingly, the former Ron Artest was here tonight, so got to see him. Obviously, he got introduced during the game. He came in afterwards, said hi to the guys. Meta, now as he's known, was one of the toughest guys I ever saw in this league ever. And so Aaron displays a lot of those attributes as well.
Time with Giannis a lot in this case, I guess some of the wall situations. What did you like about just the physicality he brought to that situation, and just again, just what the kind of performance he's stacked over the last two?
Yeah, as you go through a series, you have to keep adjusting to a guy like Giannis. I mean, he just 30 points. It felt like he had 57. He's just one of those kind of guys, and he also had 13 assists and 20 rebounds. I mean, the numbers are ungodly. And I mean, the way that guy goes is just insane. But we made the adjustment to get Myles on him in a few situations, and then when Pascal had the four fouls and then the fifth foul, it became a necessity. And it's just, you've just gotta try to get positioned, hold your ground, and hope for the best, And so, got fortunate a couple times. He made some incredible and ones, and I mean the game just kept going back and forth and back and forth. And the threes that Trent and Green were hitting, it was insanity. It really was. And so, it's just one of the really great games that I've ever been a part of.
Coach, when your team was down 33-13, what was your message to them to try to get them back on track?
Hit somebody. I mean, really, that's what it was. Apologies to the league, and I'll take that back. But listen, this is one of those things where when a team is completely desperate, this is what happens. I mean, Tyrese made a pass on the first play of the game and cut through, and Trent just, boom, hit him. And they were going to be in a hit-first mode. It was hard to complete a pass in the first 5 minutes of the game. I mean, it's just really difficult. And, to regain leverage, we had to do a reset. We had to do a mental reset. We had to do a physical reset. And we had to sit down and figure out a way to stop them, because when they start out 11-0 and 13-3, that's not a good way to start the game.
TJ had 18 points in 17 minutes. What do you think of his play off the bench tonight and how he just kind of made some big buckets there at the end of the third, beginning of the fourth?
Yeah, I know he got a standing ovation when he came out in the fourth. Very easily could have, perhaps should have stayed with him another minute. But we had a side-out situation with low clock, so decided to go back basically with the starters at that point. But TJ did his job. He did his job tonight. He was everywhere. He was putting pressure on the rim. He was putting pressure on their team, and he was leading the way he leads. And so, our fans got a lot of love for him. I got tons of respect for him. And tonight was similar to last year's deciding game, Game 6. He had 21 or something like that in that game. And, we needed a big lift off the bench, and he gave it to us.
Rick, you mentioned that Tyrese reminds you of Reggie. In those clutch moments, what stands out? What similarities do you see between the two?
Well, I mean, certainly the physical appearance is one thing. And that's no disrespect to either guy. I mean, Reggie was one of the toughest players that I ever saw in the NBA, particularly when you factor in his slight build. But he was wiry strong, and he had an iron will. And, he was going to find a way to hit a shot or get to the free throw line or scramble around and get a stop when you absolutely needed one on a great player. And Ty has a lot of the similar attributes. He's stronger than you think he is, and he's very tough-minded mentally. And he similar to Reggie. I remember the old Market Square Arena. There was a picture of Reggie holding the ball, on the side of it. He was the only picture of a Pacer player, and it represents the fact that that player wants the responsibility of being the face of the franchise. And with the way Ty plays, you can tell he wants the responsibility of being that guy. And so even when it's tough, he doesn't waver in his belief, and he keeps attacking and keeps fighting. And so no better example than the last 40 seconds tonight.
Yeah, man, I missed a lot of easy ones there in the fourth. Smoked a big layup after hitting that three that would have put us up 2 possessions. They came back to bite us, and they went on a little bit of a run. Missed like 2 or 3 threes in a row, but I got a little down about it. But, my teammates encouraged me to stay with it. They said we would get a chance to win it at the end, and they would rely on me to do that. So those guys kept me up. Drew made a huge three that probably won't be talked about a ton. Had a big steal there in that trap. And we just made plays when we needed to. And I think that's part of the resilience of this group and what we've proven all year. So, it wasn't pretty, but we'll take it and, celebrate this one for the night and, got to get ready for Cleveland.
You said you were down a bit. Can you describe that feeling in any more detail and what your teammates say to get you back up?
Yeah, I mean, I missed all open ones. I missed a wide open three on the wing. I smoked a layup that probably should have been a dunk. Missed another wide open three off the offensive rebound, which feels like it's usually an automatic off offensive rebound. And I think that's where I was just discouraged a little bit. But my guys stayed with me. Andrew, Myles grabbed me on the side, just, forget about it. You're going to get another chance to make big shots. And they counted on me, and, I just tried to, make a play in the end.
Drew shot, since you said it won't be talked about enough. What did that mean?
Yeah, it was huge. Forced timeout allowed us to, I think, if he had missed that, we would have probably tried to foul right away. But he made it, and that allowed us to, kind of be more aggressive in terms of just trying to get one trap, and I thought we did a good job of trapping without fouling, forced a couple turnovers. They had a turnover by themselves there at the end. But I feel like that, constant pressure, and we just kept talking about the wear down effect of they started hot, but let's just wear on them. And we were able to do that. And, I think that's why we came out to win.
Ty, I know I asked a lot this series about going to the rim, but obviously that's the plays that changed the game for you in this one. Seemed like obviously they put Giannis out on you on the perimeter as opposed to you kind of finding him in the middle off a switch or a help off or something like that. I mean, how much did you see that as an advantage if you were able to get him dragged out basically to the perimeter and have an opportunity to drive around him as opposed to meeting him closer to the rim?
Yeah, I was just trying to make plays. I mean, that's a matchup. I like my speed there. I like being able to get around. He had 5 fouls, so we just tried to put him in the action for the majority of overtime. Try to attack him, see if he would pick up his 6th. He didn't, and I just tried to make shots down the end. But I thought we did a great job of keeping our spacing and just guys making plays when they had to, and that's what it's about.
Wanted to ask you about sort of everything happened after that ball goes, and obviously got jumped up on the scorer's table and everything like that. Obviously had a moment with Giannis. Obviously had something happen between Giannis and your dad. What all did you see transpire? What all kind of went down there, and basically what happened?
Yeah, I mean, after we won, I kind of blacked out a little bit. I don't really remember a ton. Then all the guys grabbed me in my head. As far as the incident between Giannis and my pops, I had no idea it happened until I got to the back and was showed the video. Me and my pops have talked about that, and I don't agree with what transpired there from him. I think basketball is basketball, and let's keep it on the court. And I think that he just got excited, saw his son make a game winner, and came on the court. But I think we had a conversation, and I think he just needs to just allow me to just play basketball, stay over there. I'll come to him to celebrate. But I think just the emotions of the game just got excited there. But I talked with him. I'll talk with Giannis eventually about it. Just I don't think that my pops was in the right at all there, and unfortunate what happened in the end there. But I mean, this series was a lot of war of words, a lot of war of antics, a lot of stuff going back and forth, and that's just part of this rivalry and what we've built here over the last couple of years. And it's unfortunate what happened there, but I think it's just competition. And as far as my pops, again, I don't agree what happened there. We'll have a conversation. Everybody's grown men, and we'll just go from there.
Tyrese, Rick compared your iron will to Reggie Miller. What does that mean to you to kind of being mentioned with him?
Yeah, I think I think anything that I do, especially in the clutch here consistently, is going to get brought in the same conversation as Reggie. And I think I kind of mentioned this earlier when I hit the shot against the Bucks in the regular season. Like, he's had a lot of moments here, and I'm trying to write my own story and trying to, continue to, I think Reggie made a lot of plays for a lot of you guys when you were younger and a lot of people when they were younger to see, and a reason why he's such a legend here and, the greatest player in our franchise history. So I'm just trying to, I think he's laid the groundwork, and I'm just trying to, get to that level. And I think that I'm relied on to make plays down the stretch, and I'm just trying to do that to the best of my ability. So, just trying to create moments of my own that we can talk about one day. But anytime I'm mentioned in the same breath as that guy, it's an honor because I have a lot of love and respect and a great relationship with Reggie. Yeah, very skinny. Probably I can definitely agree with that. Yeah.
Ty, TJ had 18 off the bench tonight. Talk to me about his effort and what that did for you guys.
Yeah, I think we've talked about this all year. I mean, the reason we talk about our depth all the time, right, is that we got guys that can chip in on any given night. And I think that throughout the first 4 games of this series, you saw our starters really come out and throw that first punch, and our bench kind of just continue it. Today we were trash. We started the game awfully. They threw a haymaker to start the game, and we couldn't put the ball in the basket, couldn't get any stops. And our bench came in and just made plays, and that started with TJ getting downhill, forcing them to collapse, making plays. And this is something we've talked about, all year, is there's going to be games where our bench is not playing to their ability, and our starters got to pick up their slack. There's games where we don't, and bench got to pick up our slack. And that's part of the great part about our team. I think everybody talks about our depth and, how much team basketball we play. You see we lead the playoffs in passes, assists, everything. We just enjoy playing on the same team and enjoy just playing the right way.
Tonight you debuted your Undertaker shoes. What was the inspiration behind that?
I love WWE. I've been waiting to pull those out, and obviously I have my pinstripe P that I've been wearing for the majority of the playoffs. Those are coming out soon. I think May 9th is the date. Make sure you get a pair. But the Undertaker pair, I've been holding and waiting for the right time, and it just felt like the right time today. Yeah.
I thought he was going to ask, but 3 blocks, I guess.
Yeah. Hey, now, what I tell y'all, top 5. Yeah.
You had one where you got, I think, Bobby from behind. How important was that shot? And I guess, do you see, opportunities there when, you can kind of hit it, pick up a block that way?
Yeah, just trying to make plays, man. Obviously, I'm not the greatest on-ball defender. I'm not the greatest defender in general. But I think where I've really grown is just using my IQ on the defensive end. I think sometimes it can come to, bite me in the ass a little bit, excuse my language, but I think sometimes I can get caught floating and not seeing my man. And, I think that's how, Gary was allowed to, find space, and that got hot. But I feel like I've done a good job of just trying to make plays off the ball. And I think sometimes I get a little wild where I try to be a playmaker off the ball and it doesn't work, and it leads to, bad things for us defensively. But I'm just trying to be solid, trying to make plays. Coach tells me if I'm going to gamble for a steal or go for a block, be confident that I can get it. So I'm trying to make the right play, fly around. And I think the guys, I think we have guys like really all our guys, but Andrew and Aaron and Myles, they protect me a lot out there. They make me look like a better defender than I am because they fly around and they make so many plays. But just trying to, make plays as much as I can on defense side, and I think that it gets our team going too. When I get blocks, we talk a lot about it in the locker room. So I think it just excites everybody. I think it excites our fans as well to see me making plays on the defensive side. So whatever it takes to win, and just really glad we were able to pull this one out.
What did this take?
I'm still kind of trying to process it, man. That was one of the craziest games I've personally been a part of. We never stopped believing. I mean, I think this group, you've seen what we pulled off the past, 2-3 weeks of the season, whatever it was. And I think that was perfect because that was a perfect precursor to what the playoffs are. Now, granted, we didn't want to be in the position of being down by 20, but if we just so happened to be there, we knew how to manage it. We knew how to lock in when we needed to. So just to get to overtime and hit timely shots and get timely stops, I mean, a lot of things went in our favor. So it was just a great overall team performance.
What did you just have to do to turn that around in the moment when you're down? You're down 33-13. Like, what had to be said? I know Rick told us what he said, but what did you guys have to kind of sum it up in that moment to turn the thing around?
Kind of the same thing I just started with. Just don't stop believing. Just got to continue to keep believing in each other and just to dig in and get a stop. I mean, I think one of the things that hurt us was rebounding at the end. They got a few extra shots off of that, and we talked about us, eliminating that, eliminating as many mistakes as possible offensively, and just keeping it moving. We knew Giannis had 5 fouls, so we tried to keep him in action. And Tyrese is, even though he missed, a lot of shots, he still stayed the course and was able to, pull off some amazing stuff there at the end of the game.
I think Ty said was he obviously starting to get discouraged because he mentioned he smoked the layup. He had a couple open threes that he usually hits, and he said that you guys, his teammates, kind of made a point of keeping him up there, so he kept attacking. And just what were some things that you guys tried to get across to him?
I can tell you exactly what happened. It was half court. I think the ball was in, I don't know, was it Aaron's hands or was Drew's hands in the corner, and in the middle of it, I yelled at him. I said, "Go get the ball!" Like these are the situations that you prepare for. These situations that I know you train for. I said, go get the ball. And right afterwards is when he got that and one. So it was just, I'm glad he stayed resilient and just was able to, pull it off in those moments, because a lot of people would have shied away. You miss 2-3 big shots and you shy away from the moment, and I wasn't going to allow him to do that. So I think that, it was big on him to go get the ball, but I knew he needed a little bit of a nudge, and he was able to make some great things happen.
You mentioned Giannis earlier. It seemed like you got him more. You were defending him more today, basically, than maybe you had directly. Basically, it kind of initial primary defender or in the wall or some of those things. I mean, what did you feel like you did well in that circumstance? Obviously, you guys kept him from getting going for a while. Certainly, his numbers line is huge at the end, but it seemed like it took him a while to get going. What did you feel like you did well, particularly?
No, it was strategic. We saved that bullet. I could have guarded him earlier in the series, but I think that we wanted to save it for, when we really needed it. I think the numbers show I did a decent job on him, throughout the series. And the last 3 or 4 minutes, what it was, he wanted to switch the matchup and give him a different look. So, yeah, I think it's just a matter of just still a team effort, man. You're not just guarding the guy one. I have a guy to my right, I have a guy to my left. Guys are talking to me, and, we're able to, like I said, just lock it down at the end.
There's 40 seconds left, and they're headed to the free throw line. You guys are down 6. What's going through your head at that time, and how did you guys stay focused or keep the belief in a moment like that?
I won't say who, but, a couple of their players were talking a little crazy. Just, yeah, we're a championship team. We've been here before. Like, y'all thought y'all was going to beat us. This is that. That's verbatim what was said. And, again, we just ignored it. We just kept our heads down, and we kept working. So, we hit some big shots, and then there was 2 big blunders on their end, and caused by our pressure. Drew hits a big shot, Aaron hits a big shot, Tyree's able to get downhill, and the rest is history.
Tough to have a game 3 and start today, but to get through this series in 5, what does that say about the state you guys are in going into the next round?
That was huge, bro. Because if we would have had to play another game, or anything could have happened, anything. So we're glad that we get to rest, for a couple of days, and we'll figure out when we play, and we lick our wounds, and we just get ready for what's next.
At almost 50 playoff games, perspective is the word I kind of think of when I look at you. So how do you, I guess, kind of quantify or describe where you started to where you are now, and everything's kind of happened getting to this point?
I remember my very first shot in the playoffs. I got fouled. I went to the free throw line, and my hands were shaking. It was in Toronto. It was my rookie year, and I smoked both free throws. And I was like, oh, wow, this is real. You know what I mean? And to go from that to being, one of the leaders, one of the guys that has the experience, and one of the guys that's, have been in Game 7s and been in tough environments, I'm just able to provide a lot of, I won't even call it wisdom, just experiences, provide just perspective, if you will, to these guys, and keep guys calm, and just there's not much I haven't seen. So, it's amazing that I'm at 50 games, but I'm just trying to continue to keep rolling.
To follow up on that idea of perspective, to be able to get this done here in front of these people, what this fan base means. Yeah. What does it mean to be able to be a part of this and be able to do this for this fan base?
Yeah. First and foremost, shame to the fans that left early. Like, y'all know better. Y'all have watched us play for a long time, and you know who you are. But I think it was dope, man, just you feel the energy, man. Like, you just really, really feel the energy here in Cambridge when, in moments like that, you make a big play, or, forget about the shots, man. Indiana fans love when you dive on the floor, or you get a big block, or, a big rebound. Like, they care about the gritty stuff. And those are the plays that I think personify, what our city's about.
There's been a lot of grit down the stretch in a lot of games, regular season into now. How did those regular season wins that you guys were able to turn out and pull out affect and come to fruition in a game like this?
It was an amazing mock test. That's what I call it. Those games where we were trying to, one, get to 50 wins, and two, just win, period. Know how to win. What it takes to win. Winning is very hard in this league. Even harder in the playoffs. So being built to those resilient moments, and then being able to actually pull off what we pulled off here tonight, it's just it's incredible, and a testament to just our team's overall psyche and just overall philosophy. Just never give up.
Myles, I asked Ty about him too. TJ had 18 off the bench. Yeah. You guys were kind of struggling there in the start, and he was really kind of just keeping you afloat. Talk to me about his effort tonight and how big that was for you guys.
Just consistent, man. TJ is someone who just he's a pest, bro. He's someone you love to have on your team, hate to play against him. I think that he can really change games, and he came in confidently, hit his shots, got guys open. Got me a big dump, was able to chest bump my pops, I think that was dope. And little stuff like that, man. He's just a spark plug, he, like I said, man, someone I've been playing with for a long time. So again, nothing really surprised me with him either, man. He's just built for these moments.
Myles, I know it was a heated series and things like that, but when you look at Giannis, you faced some all-time greats throughout your career. How much respect do you have for him leaving all that out there? And obviously you all taking everything it needed to get past that.
Of course, he's someone I've struggled with in the past. I had to really break down a lot of film and just go through a lot of reps to figure out how to slow him down. So he's someone who's made me have to really compete at a much higher level and really make me have to look myself in the mirror in the past. And whatever happens in the future, with him or Milwaukee or whatever it may be, he's still going to be one of the greater players in this league. So, of course, I tip my hats to him just going out there and scoring damn near 30 points every single night, trying to, carry a team. But, I think just fortunately we were able to get the better of him this year.
Aaron had quietly 19 points and 12 rebounds. So how important was he tonight?
He's important the entire series, man. You got someone like him who takes a crazy fall or a nasty fall. And dude's just made of vibranium. I don't know what it is, bro. He just he comes ready to play every game, man. So just country strong, whatever you want to call it. And fights over every single screen. Is up. He communicates. He's taking his offensive game to a completely different level. There's times in the past where he puts the ball on the floor and we're just kind of like, now it's like we encourage him to do it. You know what I mean? He gets downhill, makes good decisions, and he's been very solid for us so far in this playoffs.
I have a word for you. This is my 10th year in the NBA. I've never been a part of a game like that. But just finding ways to win. Credit our guys down the stretch of continuing to answer the bell. They kept punching, and just when you thought it was over, we made big plays. So credit to Tyrese for attacking the basket on that last play, and credit to the guys out there.
The NBA, in a way, is a league of comebacks, but it feels like this roster, this locker room maybe has an ability to do that better than almost anybody else. Can you describe what it is about this team that has that never say die mentality?
Yeah, I think we do a good job of keeping guys fresh and with our depth, and I think that helps us down the stretch, and especially tonight when we needed all 48 and then 5 extra minutes of overtime. It just came down to the last play. That's usually how it is for playoff, especially in playoff basketball.
This is one of the best playoff games of your career. That late third quarter, early fourth quarter stretch was really pivotal. Take me through what was working so well for you.
I was just trying to attack and get downhill and just see what they were giving me. If they didn't step up, just get to my mid-range, and if I was open for 3, shoot it. But when they rotated, I'm just trying to find guys and just let the game come to me.
Can you describe the sense of fulfillment to not be heading on a flight to Milwaukee here, to not be needing to go back there and to get this one done here in Indianapolis?
Yeah, it would have been pretty deflating as a group to not be able to close them out at home in front of our fans and then have to go back to Milwaukee, which is a really tough place to play. Just very fortunate to have closed them out here, and we got to move forward and get ready for Cleveland.
I know it's a little early to ask you for a deep thought on Cleveland, but they had a tremendous season. You guys did get a really impressive win there. Initial thoughts in the direction of your next opponent?
I think they were the second best team in the league this year. So, the way they played against Miami, it's going to take focus, energy, commitment on both sides of the ball for 48 minutes, and we have to be extremely locked in.
He had a huge night off the bench in the Pacers' Game 5 win. T.J. McConnell,
TJ, down by 7, 40 seconds left to play. How do you describe what transpired there and you guys walk away with this win?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure as a fan and even as a player, you have faith in your guys, but it wasn't looking good, and just the resiliency of this group and never quit. That's why you play to the final, the final buzzer, and us just continuing to not go away. And crazy game, but just really happy we won.
So many guys involved. 11 players play tonight, I believe. And what does that say about this team? How you were able to have so many guys, such a balanced attack to get the job done?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you hear us say all the time about our depth. Just empowerment from the coaches to do what we do best, and keeping fresh bodies in there, and I think that was the key.
It's one thing to get a victory, but to get the win that you got here tonight and to win this series. How are you feeling? You've been in this league for a long time, but to get a win the way you gutted it out, down by 20 at one point to get the victory.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've never been a part of a game like that in my career. But for it to look so bad at one point, we fought our way back, and then again in overtime, you think it's over, and this group just doesn't quit. So to be able to close them out at home, though, I mean, our fans are the best. This place was rocking as it usually is, and they willed us to this one, literally.
TJ, how big was Aaron's just sort of relentlessness and playmaking there at the end of the game too?
I mean, he just makes big plays for us on both ends. That's just who he is, and we wouldn't be in this position without him.
I heard you tell him let it go. Is that kind of your?
Yeah, when he shoots it, we have this thing we say leave it, and that's from Lloyd, who works with them. And
leave it. That's right.
Yeah, I wish I really knew what that meant. I just kind of wanted to get in on it and be a part of it.
Awesome. Thanks, TJ. Appreciate you.